Your live. Hi, I'm Elliot. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again, too. I was gonna put out another video with a list of stuff, and I'll do that later. But a kind of mood swept over me. And so I figured this would be as good a time as any to talk about ye old dark nights of the souls. I think what I'll make clear ish first is when we feel things for others, uh, everything is connected, so we're going to feel things for others. People close to us in our environment, people close to us in our souls, and everyone else, too, the collective. And there's no mistaking that when we feel things for the collective, and I'll get into what that even means so that we can speak more clearly with an understanding of what we mean discussing. We are healing things for a lot of people. We're healing things for a lot of people that don't know why they're feeling what they're feeling. And then in our healing, we change who we are. And so we change what it's like to be around us. And those things that we've healed, that other people feel, when they're around us, they don't feel it anymore. Or when a trigger that would ordinarily create that feeling happens and they're around us, it's different because we don't react the same way. Like deep in our souls, like in the core of us. And so that changes them. And sometimes super drastically because they didn't even know. They don't even recognize that they're actually acting differently than they normally do. And that's nice, that's kind. We're all in different stages of being ourselves. And as such, we have all different responsibilities. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say about the collective, but if it becomes relevant, I'll say it again. I guess, well, why I'm here right now talking to you is because it makes me feel less alone. And it's not a distraction, it's a bullseye. I'm just hearing the sounds outside my room, and they're cute. They're happy sounds. Yeah, I guess. I guess I'll tell you a little bit about um, my dark nights. Because there was most. A lot. I've been depressed a couple times. A couple times where I would say I was fucking depressed. The first time was just around the beginning of 2017. It started kind of itching at the back of my head, scratching from some deep hole in my heart. Around the beginning of the year, last year, 2017. By around the middle of the month, it had arrived. And it chilled there for what felt like forever. I say that because I kind of started to. Well, I think I killed it, I'll be honest. That's how I framed it in my mind. Around the end of March. This is by no means the first time I've been really sad or angry. Forlorn, upset, tired, so tired. And the tiredness is something that I still get. That's what I'm feeling tonight. I was engaged the year before to someone I really love. And at that point, someone I had loved the most. I think I love every mate, every woman that I've been with more than the last. And it has nothing to do with these wonderful women that I've love me, and everything to do with learning a greater capacity to feel love. Because I can love like a champ to all appearances. And truly, it's always been a lot harder for me to feel it. And maybe skipping to the end a little bit, what I've learned through all these dark nights is that's in part because I'm a good lover. And when you love good, you know when you're not receiving love good. And what hurts is when you know that, but to your lover, they're loving all the way. In the ways that they're not are confrontational. It takes a lot of work. I don't want to say they weren't meant for me, because I don't want to give it that lack of agency. Because, especially her, the one I was going to marry, of all, I haven't had very many partners. 1, 2, 3, 4. She is a real soulmate of mine. And I will always love her dearly. And we broke my heart. The summer of 2016. If I were to look back, I'd say that she was probably going through. She was definitely going through what a lot of us have been going through since about then. Waking up. But with no guidance and no experience, not sure what it is, but you want to know. Just feeling kind of detached, things not making sense, things not meaning what they used to. Anyways, being with me, it's just one of the things that don't know. When you love someone so much, and she loved me the most, and then it's hard to feel or think how you feel changes. Just changing, just having how you feel about someone that you really love, it can be really confusing. You wonder if it could mean a lot of things. And I don't want to toot my own horn. Whatever, I'll toot it and then I'll deflate it. In a lot of ways, I'm a really great partner. I'm a good man. She's a great woman. All of my partners have been especially great women. But it was a trying time. I was going through my own kind of waking up, needing to change, needing to do something different. I'd asked her to marry me the year before. And we hadn't been together for very long. Less than a year when I asked her to marry me. But I have learned to not rush in so much. I just can't help it. Part of my gifts as who I am is I tune in really hard to the best possible possibility, the best possible probability, and I go for it. And we knew that we'd love each other forever. And we do. There's no possibility, or I don't want to say desire. We're on different paths now. And she's not on my path. Mine's pretty narrow. But I could see that timeline, that world. She was the first person I ever called twin flame. And this is before I even knew there was a whole culture or prophecy or anything about it. I'd read it in one of Paulo Coelho's books. The name of it escapes me. It's about a young girl, or an older girl, a young woman, who learns that she's a witch. But it's not that witch in Portobello, it's some other one. And I'd ask her to marry me, but I had no intention of. Well, what, or rather, it wasn't my intention that we rush headlong into that. Like, I was, like, I almost in my mind, like, it was gonna be, maybe, like, we could be engaged for 2, 3 years. I was just so ready to profess my commitment. Because commitment has been I don't have a lot of experience with it. I used to think that I wasn't into it. But I've just learned that actually I full tilt commit into whatever I do. I'm careful about the things that I commit to. And I'm very comfortable adapting what that commitment means when it comes to like projects and things like that. But again, that's another wound. But people, lovers, I go for it. But with her, I was like, she was the first person where I could see the rest of my life. We wanted the same things to affect the same kind of work. Heal, teach, lead. It's like, it's not like lead ourselves, but spirit and nature and truth. So in the summer, when things started to change, and they just started to change probably a little earlier than that. But not by much. There's a lot of I don't knows. Why are you feeling, like, what do you mean? Like, what are you feeling? I don't know, I just don't know, I just don't know. Everybody knows. A red flag, like a super hard red flag, that I do what we all do when there's red flags, and we just don't want them to apply to us. She lied really easily about little things. Not to me, ever. For a while. And really never to me so much outright. She's a very good person. And she's was learning and going through all her stuff too. She was on the receiving end of a couple of my least proud moments. we are very connected, and we took very brave. We must love each other a lot to take on these roles in each other's lives. Where we can be so hurt so deeply. Because we love so much. So I guess I'll mention it a little bit, but it's not as important, the detail. Just I got a sense that there was someone else. That there was emotional cheating. And that was more or less personally confirmed. Personally by me. After the fact. But that's not as important. It's not important. It's only important for me to convey my sensitivity towards betrayal and dishonesty. Just don't lie to my face. Depends on like what circle you're in, you know. And I don't keep there's not a lot of people in my circles. So in February, I couldn't move. Despair is the worst. I wasn't depressed as much as I was in despair. And not just heartbroken, but just so little self-worth. Evident from others, in my perception, but so little self-worth for myself, even, like really outright. And then one day I had a dream. I don't really dream of people very often. I dream every night. But only like I had like 5 people tops in my whole life. Maybe 6 now. um, have ever really come into my dream and been a part of it. She's one of them. In the dream, she was treating me like taken for granted. It was kind of sexual in nature. Not the most sexual dream I've had. But it made me feel pathetic. The way that she was treating me in the dream. But what killed me is feeling that and not being a part of it. Was waking up and knowing how much just how good that dream still felt. So a long story long, I went to the shower. And I hated myself. And then I realized that I didn't have to be that person anymore. That I never really was. Just that identity, that identification was another Elliot. And I hated that Elliot. So right there in the shower, I'll remember this forever. I was like, I'm killing myself. I'm killing that Elliot. That Elliot is dead to me. And I killed that Elliot that day. And anytime I had a thought or thought like that other person, I was like, nope, you're fucking dead. I killed you. You're dead. And it was very effective. Now, like, I'm a yogi and like a psychonaut. Mushrooms, ayahuasca. I've been reading since I was like, I don't know, 3 or 4. And I haven't stopped since. The mental sphere is like my forte. And I've been teaching my whole life. So I mentioned that because it's not so simple to just be like, okay, that person's dead. Like, everything I'd learned in my life up until that point was what it took for me to say words that sound simple, but their execution and effect came from many years of self-mastery. Her and I, my ex-fiance, I laugh because it's like that. No one who liked that word. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll like that word. We broke up at the end of the summer in 2016. And I really wasn't trying, but I met someone in April of 2017. And her and I were together until June of this year. And I've never loved someone as much as I've loved her. And thinking about what we've been through definitely still makes me sad. I've only ever had amicable breakups. But they're not easy. They're harder. To leave someone before you hate them. Because you love them so much. And between April and maybe like September, it was easy. My career was kind of changing, and it wasn't what I wanted, but it was what I thought I wanted. And I was kind of making really good money, but then that totally fell out from underneath my feet. And then I'd say my next dark night of the soul started about October 2017 and ended if I'm honest, the end of July 2018. I don't want to go too far into it or like break it down like I did just now. Hope you can appreciate it's the details don't matter. We should use them to share feeling. And maybe you went through very different things, or on the outside, you'd be like, that's nothing. The thing is, the outside's not real. And how I have gotten so good at mental states and whatever. Is I feel things the most. Not unconsciously. I'm not. It's not like I'm unconscious. Like I can't help it. No, I help it. If something sucks, I feel it the most possible way it can suck. Because I try to fix it, And fix is got all kinds of connotations. I just mean like upgrade it, improve it, change it. If something sucks, I don't want it to suck. Um, I'm 33 this year, 2018. And at the beginning of this year, or rather at the end of last year, I guess, we'll start back in the chronology. Again, long story short, I lost a contract. I lost my income. I went from making really good money to not making enough money in like a month. I rush into love, maybe. I'm very passionate. I kind of, in the past, that's how I've done a lot of things. Not really rushing into, but I'm not good at backup plans because I don't plan to fail. And also, for better or worse, I kind of have a backup plan that might suck. That might suck a lot, but I know I won't die. So I can't waste any time, anything in between. And I guess that brings me to my next point. In October, I was fucking scrambling to try and figure out how I was going to make money. What I was going to do. I couldn't afford my rent. Like, almost right away. And I had a really lovely friend that helped me with straight up like a few $1,000s. And didn't give it to me like a loan, although I insist. But has not once ever, 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 ever asked me for anything back. Because she wasn't giving me money, she was giving me love. And this wasn't like a romantic relationship at all. It was a love relationship. It's between two human beings. In October as well, shortly after I'd lost the contract, I think it just in the first week of October. And I kind of quit it. But when you quit something that like isn't what you signed up for, and what they want you to do isn't, and what they like, yeah. So I quit, but I would have stayed on if I could have done what I wanted to do, and what we'd agreed I'd do, anyways. In October, I also, in my own just personal research, discovered that I have a unique nervous system that is common to a lot of unique people. And it's really funny to me because I read so much and I research everything, and brain stuff, personality stuff, like biochem, like chemistry. Like it's just it's so deep within my niche that uh, it's only God and some fucking plan, right? That it took me this long. But in 30, yeah, look, that 30 fucking 2 in October, I found out I totally have what people call ADD, or ADHD or whatever, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And just, I already know that it's a blessing and not a curse, and blah, 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 blah. Like, don't feel sorry for me. I'm awesome. And we're all, it's such a bullshit condemnation. That said, I have a particularly potent uh, case of like contributing factors to my nervous system that make it a particular that make my nervous expression and uh, super I can actually just stop there. Makes I'm a super expression of the potential. And it also I guess I'll just say this part too, like, so what that means basically is um, means a lot of things, but basically I don't make as much dopamine as it takes to run my body. I'm very sensitive, ultra sensitive to bullshit. But I have a super low threshold for, like, or rather, I have really finely tuned, like, threshold for what I won't tolerate. But once it crosses that threshold, I'm all in. So then it's like, oh, like, makes sense, you know, like, you rush into that, you rush into this. For the first time in my life, I made sense to me. And it was such a relief to feel a sense of belonging. You know, finding that out helped me feel like there wasn't something wrong with me. But oh God, did it make me sad and angry that I'd gone my whole life without anybody noticing. Without anybody helping. When, like, my like, it's not like I was hiding it, like, Elliot has ADD. Oh, really? But I'm not like a bouncing off the walls kind of guy, except when I'm like passionate and having a lot of fun. And people don't notice I'm bouncing off the walls when they're feeling really good around me. and I'm making them feel really good, or I'm inspiring them, and I'm being inspired by them. But everything in my life that was fucked up and wrong, all of it, uh, was connected to behaviors that were neurologically just hard for me. And it just got to be too much. Because everybody thinks they know what that is. ADHD. And nobody has a fucking clue except for people that actually have it. And the worst part, and a key to my spiritual awakening, understanding, kind of revelation, was coming to realize the devil that exists in people thinking that they understand already, so they stop seeking to understand. And when you offer anything to the contrary, to their understanding, they almost chalk it up as like something an ADD person would say. I'll give you an example. Super easy example. Texts. If I get a text, and this is before medication, it's pretty similar to now too, but now it's all volition and choice, and I understand myself. So what I thought I didn't have control over, I can now take responsibility for and be like, no, you know what? I'm down. I'm awesome. I understand why I was doing that. Say I receive a text. If I receive a text and read it, but don't reply right away, I answer it in my mind, and then I'll completely forget to send the text. And in the same vein, if someone texts me, just to reply to that text, even if especially if it's simple, and it's like impossible. And then a last example. Something like I live with my family right now. Because after I lost my home, and I was like mentally not well, I came here to heal, and die some more, kill some more. But anyways, like in Yosh, my mom would put some like garbage out. You know, by the door or whatever, and be like, next time you go out, can you like take that with you or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. But I could never do that because first of all, wherever I'm going late because I can't get myself to move until my adrenals kick in and give me enough like body chemistry to get up and out the door. And like I can't, it's like a system. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. And I go, and like if I fuck with that system at all, I fuck with it first in my mind and it'll stop me. It's complex. It's actually it has a lot to comment in common with the autistic spectrum. Like over the last year, just on like, granted they're internet IQ tests, but I scored 125 when I was literally like bedridden. I couldn't move. My thoughts were like so slow or whatever, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. I was like, 125, that's fucking wicked. And then like, I don't know, a month later, I scored 135, and then a few months later after that, I scored 140. Like, and I haven't done it in a while. And they're like, they're internet tests or whatever, and I only mention that to say like, just different. Some things are really hard for me. And when people don't understand that, they think you're lazy, or stupid, or making excuses. And then you live 32 years telling yourself that too. And believing it. And then trying to get help is so hard. I live in Canada, so we have great healthcare, which means long lines. But I'll take it because I lost everything and I had no money. I went on social assistance earlier this year. But not like social assistance that I could really get and qualify for because I was previously self-employed, and so that disqualified me for like, it's just fuck. My culture is Caribbean. With a strong European like genetic heritage or whatever. So my family back home, whatever, were the white people. And then they came to this part of the world and became the black people. And then I grew up not even thinking twice about it. But when I hit high school, I found out that I was black. It's like, I'm black. I didn't think I was black. Like, I know, like, I know not all black people are from Africa. And like, I threw a tinge of ignorance in there on purpose. Uh, but like, we don't have any African in our family for like, I think like a long, like I don't know. I like for as long as I know, and I've looked into it a little bit. But I get, color skin. But I don't want to last so long. In the middle of high school, I stopped being black and I started being mixed. And everybody wanted to stop. Everybody, like, I got stopped a lot actually. Uh, and what do they ask? They're like, "You're mixed." I'm like, "Yeah, fucking mixed, man. I got like, I don't even know, like all kinds of different fucking nationalities up in this, like a lot. That's mixed." But they wanted to hear which parent was white and which parent was black. It's like both my parents kind of look like me. And why I mention that is because it had to do with a lot of the pain that I was healing and was feeling so deeply. Being an like ambiguous, a racially ambiguous, culturally ambiguous, ethnically ambiguous man in the most culturally diverse city in the world. And I've traveled the world, so I actually know that this to be true. I'm from Toronto, and there's nowhere else in the world that comes close. And like, and I know YouTube is very American, so if you're from any part of America, I've traveled America enough, uh, and like New York, Miami, uh, Los Angeles. I've checked those boxes as far as being there. What else? What other like I was like what those are probably like your most Boston maybe I don't know. Fuck, hell no. But like those are like potentially New York really right is like the most maybe the melting pot, the culture diverse place. Not by a long shot are you as close as culturally diverse as this city. And I've been to like yeah lots of like major places, major like cities in the world. Doesn't in the culturally diverse world, no one comes close. In a time where everybody's so sensitive to these differences, and the rise of the feminine, I've been given the unique opportunity, truly, to be neurologically uh, so different than most people. And there's good reasons for that. I had a bit of a traumatic birth, but I don't want to get into that. Um, and I look, the way that I look is such that uh, I might, I don't belong to any, I don't belong to any fucking group. Which means like, yeah, man, I can kind of float from here and there and here. But you know what? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody dies. Nobody lives for floaters. People don't notice uh, that you're similar. They notice you're different. and uh, I've I've been discriminated by every group. And how that's affected me is most is um, socially. Like I can look back at my elementary school experience where I didn't that race wasn't even a thing to me really. I went to a really lovely elementary school, but I was totally discriminated against. Gifted programs or like who got attention, you know, single mother family. I was uh, I was black apparently, you know, like I was treated differently. I wasn't given the same opportunities. So like a lot of us, I God, I didn't feel like I belonged. And then March through anyway, so like October, November, December, I went crazy. Like, but crazy in ways that I thought I understood, and I could still kind of be around. But January, February, March, April, May, like, I stopped working. I couldn't work. I couldn't work because I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't live this lie. I was teaching yoga, and I'm world class, and I can say that unapologetically and modestly. But I couldn't be nice. I've never been very nice, kind, good-natured, loving. Nice, not so much. Sweet, nice, not so much. And I was angry. And I was just pointing that out. Not like I'm angry, look at me, I'm angry. It's like look at yourself. Look at this. Why do you do this? Why do you not do that? Like that. And because and yoga's beautiful because you put people in it. They're in the challenge of their life. And then you offer them the opportunity to examine and like create correlations between the challenge that they're having now and the challenge that they're having, you know, at the dinner table or at work, you know, with people themselves. And fundamentally, it was just like I don't want to fucking teach yoga. It's forever doing side projects. It was very hard to be around. Not just because it was dark. I was like in a dark places because like I'm a light switch, especially depending on my environment. Like I can like if I love you, man, like we're gonna have a good time around each other. But I was like there's times where I couldn't talk. Like I couldn't speak, and many more times where I couldn't trust what I would say. Like all the wiring was crazy. And I would say things that I didn't mean, or like I just, it wasn't, it was horrifying. And so my really lovely relationship uh, didn't stand up to that. And she kind of betrayed me too by not being honest. And I didn't know. I mean, I knew then at the time, and I'm not know, but like, I was becoming very psychic, and I could just like I just knew, and never and then like there was like these algorithmic forces like possessions, and nothing like too demonic, but like things were like they're stepping in and taking control of her. Just a few times, but because I was becoming very powerful myself, not knowing at all really what was going on, and except from my own journey. So a few more times. So a few times that relationship killed me. I killed myself. There weren't many days from October to July that went by that I didn't cry. In emotional agony. In May, for the first and only time in my life, I was going to kill myself. And that's living a life where every day, at least once, I say in my mind, I want to die. Not that I don't want to be here, or I don't feel like I want to die. I eventually started treatment, medication, because before then I was just using like drugs and alcohol and like nothing like actually medicinally. Not so much alcohol. That was more like partying, and not even so much, but like just drinking. I say it now, but then I think like I gotta, for a frame of reference, I don't. My drinking is not a lot of drinking compared to other people. Smoked a lot of pot, but then again, not so much. Not so much for the last years, and I haven't smoked since I checked myself into the hospital that day. Because I'd run out of medication. Because I'd run out of money. I'd run out of help. And I just had people be not nice to me, like strangers. Like going to a walk-in clinic. To help me with my prescription. Like half an hour to close, no one in the waiting room. And they didn't want to take me. Because they wanted to go home. I'm like, I really just need, I need help. Like, I really need help. No. Couldn't believe the lack of humanity. I've learned a lot since then. And I've learned that some people aren't human in the same way that I thought everyone was. My wanting to die so much that I thought I might kill myself wasn't even the worst pain. that was left to feel and to heal. That I want to keep a little private if you don't mind. But what I'll share is what I learned. And that was ultimately all that I'd created, all that was really wrong with my life came directly from a deep belief that I wasn't worth love. I had to prove myself to everyone. And maybe, you look for people that, um, you seek out the same person over and over. And they weren't the same people. Could have been anyone. Because eventually that comes up. And it wasn't like they didn't love me, or it was tolerating certain behavior and being like, it'll change. Or like, this is good and this is good, so we'll work on this. Instead of being like, no, that's never okay. I desire better, I deserve better. And now that you know, don't let it happen again. Happens again, peace, I'm out. I love you, but I am worth more than this experience. And I still get sad. I've cried. Maybe 2 or 3 or 5 times since the end of July. But that's really something. Like, when I say, I used to cry 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. For really 8 months. And not over nothing. At the sharpest edges of my soul. And not over the same thing ever. I always change it a little bit. I was trying to get better. I try and understand it, And then I heal, and I'm like, okay, I'm never good. I can't feel the same way about the same thing because I understand it more. Which is how you get to the bottomest of the most bottom. I'll tell you at the end of this conversation, which is now, that there does come a point where you're not afraid of yourself anymore. And that you can be sad and still content. You're not happy, but you're yourself, and you've got your purpose. We give too much credence to emotions. We say emotions fuel our capacity for magic and intention, when that only applies to fools. And what I mean is people that don't have souls. And what I mean is people that don't have hearts, whose chakra access ends at their belly button. Because love is by far the most powerful thing in the whole world, in the whole universe. It is power. But love is the reason. That's power. Awareness. And self-mastery. Being able to choose. To disregard, to discern. To not be attached to things that aren't you. Opens gateways that let you choose who you are. And because you're so fucking self-brave, you've like slayed every dragon in every cave of you. Fucking dragons respect you. Because there's as many different types of dragons as there are people. And some dragons are like, yo, I don't like those dragons anyways. I really respect how you fucking kick their ass. I did the same thing. 17 million years ago. And then you find out dragons are there are things as dragons. And then you find out got disconnect there for a sec. Better watch what I talk about. It's a long video. I don't want it to get taken down. Oh, I'm sure those are fucking action words. Anyways, just nothing goes away by ignoring it. Nothing goes away. But when you can understand and accept responsibility, be like, if I'd known what I know yesterday, I would have changed. I would have not done the same thing. Then you don't even need that cop out. It's just accept that you felt the way you felt, and you did what you did. There are things that I did that I knew I shouldn't have done. And I look back and I'm like, yeah, I still feel the same way about it. But I almost can't remember that thing because I figured it out. I understand why it upset me. I accepted that it's validity, it's truth, and I'm not that person anymore. Die every day. Die every moment. There's a reason in our fucked up manipulative language that evil disconnected again. Living isn't the point. They make us cherish this scarce resource of living. Want to live more than anything. No. Living is evil. Evolve. Love. And live for a reason. if you were to die right now, what wouldn't get done that you're doing that you would be pissed off about? Angry, upset, impassioned. There's a few things for me. I would like. It's not happening. I got things I'm doing every day. I'm not done. But if you've got nothing, like if it's like, oh, I want to get married, I want to have a house, those aren't things that you're doing. Those are things that happen to you. Maybe. And never the way you think. Fuck life. Die well. Die for a good reason. Die while trying to love more than anyone's ever loved before. Even if you take your last breath at like one at 174 years. Never stop. But to get there, you have to let go of all that you aren't. And that takes hunting within yourself. Accepting who you were. And then deciding that that's not you anymore. Because it's the truth, but you have to decide to accept that too. And that takes feeling, on honoring your feelings. You'll stay sad forever if you don't let yourself be sad. And if you don't keep digging to find a reason that you're sad, or you stop being sad. I'm sad because this person doesn't love me. Really? I don't even feel bad for giving you a really. I'm sad if someone doesn't love me. Oh, you're fine. But that's not like the life debilitating kind of sad. If you're like really sad, like crying every day because someone doesn't love you, that you love, and especially if they're happy off loving someone else, you need to go a little fucking deeper. You think you're in a dark night of soul? You need to fucking turn the lights off in your room, yo. Because it's fucking noon. You ain't fucking get started. You're not sad because he doesn't love you. You're sad cuz. And then you go from there. And you dig until you dig up something. And then you give it a hug, you give it a kiss. And then you put it back to bed. Or burn it. Cremate it. I'm not nice. I'm a bit of an asshole. And this is how I talk to myself. So, I know my videos don't get very many views. And I don't know if anybody will ever watch this. But someone's watching. And that's who I'm talking to. And I appreciate your listening. And anything that I say that hits home, it's not coming from your neighbor. I love you. If it hits home, it's because we share the same roof. So. Dark Knight's not done until dawn. and it gets easier. Like worlds of a difference easier. But you'll still get sad. And it might still be the same stuff. Like similar. You know? Like tonight, I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of being on my own. I'm tired of not being able to talk to anybody about who I really am. I'm tired of not being recognized. I'm tired of actually, that I love not being recognized. But just by someone. You know? Everybody wants to be seen. Coming from the community of yoga, it's like hugs everywhere, and I'm the best. Like I'm all about hugging, and I give great hugs, and I miss being hugged. It's not a dark night of my soul tonight. I'm just sad. And that's okay, because that's telling me how I feel. Because I don't have everything that I want. Yeah, but I haven't created everything that I'm going to do. And the world hasn't been a nice place. It's not anybody's fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. Especially when you're a good person. They don't make loving easy. They don't make good people getting together easy. Or accomplishing anything easy. They make it fucking hard. But that's why we're here, to make the world a better place. And honestly, my world is magnificent. Because I read a lot of books, a lot of fantasy, a lot of science fiction, a lot of mystery, a lot of adventure in those veins. And I can imagine really great things. And that's what I'm doing. And they're happening. Who doesn't love a good little, like, mid-plot twist tragedy? intrigue. It's the hero's journey. Again and again and again. I love you. That one was for me. Because we could all bear to look at ourselves and say that really earnestly a little bit more. And I needed to do that, especially right now. But I love you too. You're a good person. Thanks for being together. Namaste.